Good day. Let me go ahead and start up the IGA of the Star Trek. And we talking Star Trek. It's all the nerd shit. We call that. Hey, my dog died. My homegirls died. We're trying to get high. Oh, yes, sir. High. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I know what it is. This is your favorite blurred click for their top blurred shit. Today, we are recapping and reviewing the most recent installment of Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy. And all right, let me just say this real quick. All right, listen, please like, subscribe, and comment. All right, I'll be forgetting to say that. Like, subscribe, comment, specifically comment, because listen, we like to be interactive. I will say this though, for the folks out there, we know you don't like Star Trek. We get it. All right, I see the YouTube comments. I get it. You know, what is this garbage? What is this trash? I get it. You know, some people are just attached to the original Star Trek. Some people only like the TNG. Some only like the DS9, and they're very unwilling to make room for new genres of Star Trek. But we're going to give our honest opinions of it. Sometimes you'll agree, sometimes you won't, but it definitely helps, and we certainly love it when you participate and you give us your thoughts. I will say it would be nice to hear from some of the people that like it as much as the ones that hate it, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's myself, obviously. I got my homie Bad Ty with me, and we got the homie Zyla with us as well. Zyla's in his house in the background, if I can get my computer working right. There it is. Hey, there she is. And we are going to chat on the episode that was released very recently, which is called, all right, I'm going to get this right, Vox Excelsius. What is it? It's like Vox Excelsior. Yeah, Vox.
Something.
Yeah, Vox is something. Well, basically, it's an episode about my dog Jay-Den and him and his feelings and his parents and the whole thing. I'm gonna take this down, guys. Just go ahead and give our thumbs up, thumbs down, meh in the middle. When I take it down, be honest, don't hold back. All right, we're gonna give our honest opinions when I take this down for everybody in 3, 2, and 1. Oh shoot! All right, we got a thumbs up. We got 2 thumbs up and a meh. All right, I'm meh. I'm a little meh. Although I will say, it's not because of the context of this show or the context of this episode. It has much more to do with the lack of something else. But I won't spoil it. I'll go ahead, and if Zyla, if you don't mind, just go ahead and just give us an idea as to what it was that made you kind of enjoy the show, what you liked about it, and yeah, quick thoughts.
Yeah, well, I'm all about the character development, so I really liked Jay-Den, seeing the background. I love a good debate, and so like seeing the arguments, I think like harkens back to old Star Trek of like, you know, the debate, like the doctor said, like the debate between what is a hologram and who is a hologram. Even thinking about like the debate between is data from TNG, like, you know, alive or not. So this debate, like, are Klingons allowed to, you know, come to their own solutions, or do they have to rely on the charity of the Federation? Like, I love that type of stuff. So that was really it for me. That's what sold the episode for me. So
okay, all right, Bad Ty, what about you, man? What are your thoughts on how the episode went, and what did you like, or let's say I maybe dislike about it, if anything?
Well, I mean, I think the one thing that stood out to me was just kind of how they finally, you know, address Jay-Den, like, and just his layers. Every time I see him on screen, what I see is there's like a level of fragility, and also like this background level of ferocity and ferociousness that can come out at any time. So when I saw this episode and like, you know, to hear, you know, the news that he gets and his reaction, like you saw so many things. You could, if you know how to read people and you just kind of pay attention, like in that moment, you saw so many things. You saw him fighting with that urge to be fragile in that moment. and show his emotion. You know, with the conflict of I'm Klingon, I have to do this. I have to honor. I must do that thing, that conflict that he goes through each episode. Like, I was glad to finally see them address it and him kind of find a way to push through, because they used the whole, it looked like anxiety that he was having.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
used the anxiety as like the, kind of the premise of his, what I'm calling fragility. Fragility is, and I just think it's like him always having to walk that thin line. It almost gives me the same feeling as Spock.
Yes.
Where Spock has to go through this whole thing of I'm half human, but I also have to be that conflict, and I'm enjoying it, man. Like, there was a moment or two where I might have welled up a little bit, because I felt it. I felt the energy, and I felt the intensity of the situation and everything like that. So, man, I enjoyed this. This was one of probably my favorite episodes thus far.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, cool. Well, it's good to hear that from you, man. If I could give, first of all, I share that sentiment with you. Like, I had that couple of moments where I was like, whoa, this is hitting. You know what I'm saying? But my complaint isn't really a real complaint about the show and how good it is or how good it isn't. My complaint really is more about wanting to see more of the space fight.
It was short.
We saw enough, but that's, it is what it is. But other than that, outside of that, like, I literally love this episode. Now, okay, for the haters, you ain't gonna like this regardless. First of all, there's an uber black Klingon who looks like he's from Kingston. All of his family look like Bob Marley and the Wailers. It's like, I don't know what, like, I was like half ready for them around the fire to kick off like a beer dancehall tune. You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for like a Black Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really like seeing the family with locks. I did have a prediction of mine, a theory of mine debunked, as I originally did say. If y'all recall, I said that I thought that his mom might be Bajoran. Well, we know that is definitely not the case now. At least if that's his mom that was in that little thing. But the thing that I really loved about it, which I think was what this was meant to do, this is what Star Trek does so well, is it allegorized so many different things. There was a religious element, a cultural element, and there was also an identity element. And the identity element was the one that I really latched onto the most. When you're dealing with a guy who's essentially being told, this is what you are, so this is what you're supposed to be. And he's like, I don't know if I get down like that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't think that really is me. If I'm being honest with you, like, that's just because Klingons like that doesn't mean that that's how I am and that's who I am. And hearing that argument and just seeing that kind of bit, like, a lot of that is my upbringing. A lot of that is, look, Vince, you are a black man, and you should be strong and tough, and you got to go out and play football and beat up everybody who looks at your sister wrong and all of that. And yeah, I grabbed on to all of that, but sometimes I'd be like, I don't know if I'm doing this because it's me or it's because what I think is what I'm supposed to be doing. And here's a man who basically is essentially wrestling with what it is he is versus what he wants to be. And I think that that's a really good place for us to talk about this episode, because, like you said, Ty, it's literally the Spock. It's literally the Spock argument. Spock is half human, half Vulcan. And I also want to address something else, because I know that there's going to be some hater in the comment section somewhere saying this is bullshit. Where's the phasers? Where's the warbirds? But there were many a episode in the original series, which most folks tend to go back to, where there was no action. In fact, I can tell you that there was a 2-part episode where Spock was essentially court-martialed, and they had to basically argue the point as to why they should be taking Captain Pike back to the planet that crippled him originally. There was very little action in this, and it was all about the allegory as to whether or not Captain Pike, who was telling Spock, no, don't take me back, but he's like, nah, I'm doing this. Spock went AWOL in this episode, by the way. I don't know if you go back and check it out. Like Spock was like, nah, man. He took over for the captain without the captain knowing. Captain's like, hey, captain hit up Sulu, was like, hey, Sulu, how's it looking on the trip to he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're on the way to He's like, Spock is commanding us. He's like, what? And then they took Spock to court. Spock took Pike all the way to the planet and then basically turned himself in. He was like, all right, I've done that. Now I'd like to turn myself in to Starfleet for subordination. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to go Star Trek history with you. I'm just saying that in the world of Star Trek, this fits. This is not something that Star Trek doesn't do. If you only watch Voyager, then yeah, you might be accustomed to seeing a lot of action. But even in Voyager, as they said, Zyla, the doctor was like, I argued myself into existence. What's more Star Trek than that?
Period.
So I don't know, man. I feel like folks is really, but anyway, a couple things I want y'all to help me understand. All right. I've gotten a few questions and I may need a little assistance in making sense of these. So the first question is, of course, the parental situation. So I don't know if you noticed, but they said that our boy Jay-Den has two fathers and a mother. Is this a Klingon polycule? I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. This is
the triad.
I remember
he called it a triad.
Yeah.
He did call it a triad, right? But I mean, mom, hey, mom.
hey. If men can do it, no. But
hey, you're right. Look. If you want to be Neo of the Klingon generation, you know what I'm saying? Then by all means, do you like this addition to Jay-Den Kraag's storyline, Zyla? Or I mean,
it was interesting to me. Like I wish it was explained a little bit more because I mean, we in the other episode we already kind of heard like polycules and Raimi's like whole situation, but I didn't know if this was the same, and I was trying to think about like houses and how they were formed in other Star Trek shows, but like I just couldn't like think about what the dynamics of it really were. But there definitely is like a lot of matriarchal stuff happening in houses. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. I wish I knew. Or did things change after the burn? No clue.
Good question. Ty, did you get any? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you.
No. I'm done. I'm just not against it. I'm just curious, like what it's all about.
Ty, did you get any feelings from the polycule? Like I was looking for the other dude. They seemed to. I didn't see him. I saw the brother.
No. You overlooked him. He was there. There were multiple guys there that had dreads. Three in particular. The father didn't have dreads. So one of those you overlooked and thought that you probably thought that it was the brother.
Yeah.
The thing. But what I'm noticing clearly is that this version of Star Trek is emulating the now times. As we know, traditional households, they look a little different now in these times. People have different notions of what relationships look like. And again, I'm here for all of it because anytime you address it and you have these conversations, it breeds conversation, it breeds openness, it breeds recognition, it breeds for all of the naive people, and I say that freely, naive that think that there's only one way that a relationship can work, then you get some insight. And I guess maybe that this becomes something that they talk about more, because I am seeing some bi-curiousness going on too. Look, I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, it's evident. Yeah,
it was some evidence of a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just like, all right, well, look, hey, if we gonna like put it on TV, let's start having those conversations. Let's start building on more than just the content and just talk about some of these things that exist already. You know what I'm saying? Lot of that going on right now.
I like that. A couple of the things that I'll tell you what I really liked. In addition to the whole identity crisis and the struggle and him having to kind of just not only deal with, but try to explain to people that are already walking into your existence with a preconceived notion of what it is you should be, how you should conduct yourself. We got a redefinition of Klingon warrior. You know, we have known Klingon warriors, General Martar. Yes, it'll be glorious. I'll just bring me some blood wine and get the god for the right, you know. And Worf, you know, son of Mogg, from the House of Mogg. How even he with Starfleet is like still a champion. But in this one, we got to learn that there's more than just the definition of a warrior with a spear or the bat'leth, and that goes to war against the Cardassians or against the Dominion. There is a warrior of words. And in this episode, we learned that the definition of Klingon stretches beyond just physical hand-to-hand combat. That's one thing that I gathered. I also gathered that, did y'all peep that Jay-Den, I think he's vegetarian.
Something like that. Which I was confused because in the episode before, he was like, I only eat things with blood in it.
Right.
But, so it was more so he said, I don't eat things that didn't die an honorable death or something like that.
Right.
Which was interesting. Yeah. It was really interesting, different.
And he just ate entrails. And he just ate entrails, mind you. So I don't know
right,
how that works for veganism. If you eat someone's entrails.
Look, that whole thing messed me up. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, all right, wait a minute, let me get this straight. Y'all eat gach. You like literally they'll take it back. They're like, it's not live enough. And now here you are talking about, like, I don't want to eat something that didn't die. And like, you want to fight the pig first? Like, is that what you want to do? And it wasn't even real, it's replicated. So I don't know. I thought that was very interesting. And I wonder if that has anything to do with maybe his attitude. Who knows? Also, am I tripping? Or am I really, really loving the locks on Klingons? I'm loving the locks in this family. It does kind of let me kind of think that there may be some sort of tribe that does kind of like deal solely in locks. But in addition to the Klingons having locks, Zyla, I'm going to throw this to you as well, but Ty, please feel free to comment. I noticed that they summoned a Klingon to the ship, specifically our captain, Nala, summoned a Klingon, and this Klingon was a lighter Klingon. Okay. Now look, it was this close to having blonde hair. Like, I know he ain't got a blonde Klingon. I know we can change a lot of things. Like, it's so funny. Like, I can deal with the vegetarian Klingon, or maybe he's gay or with locks, but blonde, nah, bro. Now you done crossed the line. Not my Klingon. But not just playing. But I thought that was interesting because if you recall, Zyla, I'm not sure how if you watched the entirety of Discovery, or even if you watched say there in the Deep Space Nine. Was it Deep Space Nine? There's this big thing about the albino Klingon. Do you remember this? Like the albino.
I've been watching Discovery, so I definitely seen the start of that conversation.
Yeah. Like in Discovery, in the beginning of it, if you recall, Ty, there's a white Klingon who is shunned by the rest of the Klingons. And he's like, and I remember there was a meeting like, we don't hold your white skin against you. You know, we understand. We get that you've been oppressed. And it was like, I trained my mind. I was like, oh, what's happening right now? But yeah, this albino white Klingon. Now, if you go back to Deep Space Nine, the albino is like a legendary dude, Klingon who evades the warrior, you know. But they're rare, is my point. Like lighter skin of that hue Klingons, they're not as frequently shown, at least on screen. So for us to get this Admiral-esque type of Klingon, who does give all the features, it was, I don't want to say slightly confusing, but it didn't necessarily match the continuity of the folklore of those the albino or the lighter Klingons, so to speak. You got any thoughts on that, Zyla? Did that strike you at all? And then Ty, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see him as a albino. I just thought he was one of the lighter. Not that we see it a lot, but it definitely. I mean, wherever he was from, it was different from where Jay-Den was from. But I know that things are different after the burns, and they all, all the houses had to be together and like all on that one ship because there was so much wreckage. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that. But Ty.
Interesting. Yeah, Ty, what you think, bro?
I mean, there's a lot that went on in this episode, but I think it goes, the fact that we're having this conversation goes back to the root of this episode. One of the things that I noticed in this episode was the fact that they were talking about how tradition versus change and where you are as an individual and in your time and everything like that. And I think this has been kind of the concept of this entire show, is that yeah, there are going to be some things that are still the same, but there's going to be a lot of things that change. One of the things that we know in terms of what you were talking about as far as the Discovery episode, yeah, he was I think an albino Klingon, and for that reason they were. He was, I don't know if I thought he was exalted. I thought they like put them up, like held him in high regard, but I don't know if that was the case. I think his specific thing was because I think his father or someone like was dishonorable or something, had something like that. I thought it, but it's been a while, so I have to go back and watch the episode. You probably know better than I do. But in this case, this was not an albino Klingon. This was a whole white Klingon. That man was white as snow. And what kind of stood out to me in that whole conversation was they had a relationship. They're like next or something, like something went down, something happened. And the way the captain was acting, she was expecting something to go happen again, and he was like, "Nah, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I like the. You always want to fight, that's in me. It's in me." And then they just left. I was like, "Wow!" I thought that was like the cat and mouse of the whole thing. He was like,
"Nah, you skipping steps. You skipping steps. They got drunk. Remember they got drunk." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she was still like, it did feel like she was like, well, hey, so you don't call nobody, you know what I'm saying? We're like, oh, so finally you can show up, you know what I'm saying? And like they had that little whole thing teasing. But yeah, it was interesting because you're like, yo, she's like 400, bro. Like
and he's 1,000. And according to her, he's 1,000. He's been she said for 1,000 years. And he was like, well, if I could wait 1,000 years, then probably 1,000 more. Now I'm saying, but it was just crazy to see her because she was really. Listen, I don't know when the last time she got those. I don't know. But it appears to be. It appears to be a lot of tension going on right now, and I don't know what's cracking. I think if the commander, my man, I don't know what his name is, but the dude that's over her, if he Admiral, if Admiral pulls up in real life, he might get touched. See, he been on that hologram tip, so he been safe. But I think if he pull up for too long and have too many drinks, they gonna have some stories to tell. I'm just saying. Because right now listen, for you to be fawning over a Klingon who eats inside what entrails, entrails, and you don't have a problem kissing them. Listen, hey, I feel like your stock, the stock is very short. There's not a lot of picks out here. It's not a lot of picks.
That kind of reminds me. She's like a Jadzia Dax. When you have 300 years. It's anything goes.
It's anything goes.
You just gotta try new things, like crazy.
Yeah. And let's not forget, Jadzia Dax ended up being with Worf. They were a couple. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you
So
go.
there, so
There you go.
people with long, rich histories, I guess they mesh well with Klingons to an extent. I think that's interesting. Well, I wanna
Oh,
go ahead,
sorry.
please.
But something I did want to say about the fact that I liked what they did with the different types of Klingons is, sometimes with Star Trek, it shows how, people are outsiders, but they're accepted in Starfleet. But I like that Jay-Den had that relationship with his brother where it was like Klingons accepted him too, like some Klingons, even at the end, the conversation that he had with Thok was very heartwarming to me. Like, you are seen, you are loved, not just by these outsiders, but you are loved by your own people, and you are seen by your own people, and it doesn't make you not a warrior. And even that conversation at the end, it's like his dad wasn't actually rejecting him in the way that, he might have thought. Like, that rejection might have actually just been a code for like release and like letting you off to do your own thing. So I thought that was really good too, because that's in the allegorical way. It's like, you don't just have to be accepted by outsiders. Like, your own people will see you for who you are, So I
love that. That's such a good observation because the brother meant so much to me in this episode, Ty. Like, the brother, I ain't gonna lie, don't get gassed up, but the brother kind of reminded me of you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, my nigga Ty is like so cool. He down to earth. He one of the coolest dudes I know. But he joins me on these little nerdy adventures, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, that's really cool, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, for him to have that figure in his life just to kind of like be like, yo, I see you, and that it just hits because I mean, I don't know about all of us, but many of us to an extent have to wrestle with what it is your parents or your mom or your dad or your culture wants you to do or want you to be versus who you feel like you actually are. And you know that in that moment when he was faced with the decision of shooting down that hawk or that eagle or whatever, he was confronted with all of his culture in one action. It was like, look, I can shoot this eagle. I can shoot it. I don't got a problem with it. But do I want to? And if I don't do it, am I Klingon? Am I not Klingon? Does our family disown me? I have to decide right now in this particular instant whether or not I am going to be a traditional quote unquote Klingon or if I'm going to be me. And that was touching to me. And for him to have that brother who eventually I feel like they have tried to kind of make his brother figure into Caleb. And so like the relationship between him and Caleb now means that much more. I want to morph into something else and then we can go ahead and start wrapping up here. I really, really liked, as we already kind of teased on it a little bit, I really liked the whole aspect of debating in this episode. Although this was the first episode, the masturbator.
The great debaters. I was saying the great debaters.
He called himself a masturbator, a master debater.
He did do that.
He did. Yeah, I was like, okay, I see you writers. I see y'all. Keep it 100. Keep it demure. Keep it. All right. But I liked it because it did give us a good idea as to what's in the soul of the of the folks who aren't going to be the enemy. Like, this is going to be one of the first Star Trek series where we watched where, other than B'Elanna Torres, where the Klingon isn't aggressive. But even B'Elanna was like, had an attitude that was like always, she was an engineer, but she was still kind of like, how dare you? This dude is like literally like, I don't want to eat this fake pork because it didn't have a chance to fight, you know what I'm saying? So I really like that, but I can see honestly on this particular episode how some Star Trek fans might be like, all right, it's been 4 episodes. Where's the action? Where's the, where's Paul Giamatti? Like, let's get the story back into fold. However, and I know I've been talking a long time, but I'll wrap it up with this. However, what I really liked was how it was brought home to him recognizing that you cannot just give us this planet. Like, Klingons are not by culture able to take this planet. It just goes against everything we believe. We don't take charity. We're fucking Klingon, not some Unka Patak. You know what I'm saying? So like them arguing that point, like where he like Caleb is literally trying to argue for the Klingons. And he's like, I'm arguing for the Klingons too, but we're just not going to be some lay down charity case. And so for them to manufacture this fight in this battle in which I ain't gonna lie, I got giddy, y'all. I got giddy as hell. I was like, oh, they do this. When the spaceship, whenever that thing go, pew, you know what I'm saying? Like we're used to, like, remember TNG was like, and then the nacelles look rubber, and you know what I'm saying? Now they just go, they go, pew, and they're gone and shit. And then they just show up and a whole bunch of
Hey yo, Vince. You know what's the coolest? You know what's the coolest part about that is they didn't even take the whole ship. All they took was the bridge.
Right.
Look at the bridge disconnected from the rest of the ship and left. I was like, oh wow, that's the illest part. Because remember when they first came and the whole ship, you know, hovered around the drone and landing on the. This was literally the detaching of the disc, which is the bridge, and just bouncing and like boom, 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 and to see the Klingon fleet pull up, to see the 5 or 6 Starfleet Federation ships pull up was cool. And I'm with you. I'm fighting would be awesome. It would have been awesome to see some shit blow up, a couple of bodies dropping in the flame. But I guess that defeats the whole purpose because you're trying to protect them. They're endangered at this point. They were looking at the Klingons like endangered species, which is also kind of crazy because they had more ships than y'all. So I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying, and that's
necessarily true.
Well,
they brought more ships, but like Federation, they are on like thousands of planets. Like there's this was meant to be a concession.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. But all of their ships were there like that. It was like yo, they pulled up. It was like, yo, y'all in the thing, yo. But which tells me that they was hanging out at that planet the whole time. Anyway, like it's like y'all was hanging. Look, you know what they was doing, right? They was squatting. The Klingon people was low key just squatting the whole time and being like, "We not gonna live here permanently because y'all want to give it to us. So we're gonna stay over here without y'all knowing." And then maybe. Like that's weird energy, but at the end of the day, they had to make the story make sense, and it's cool. But yeah, man, I'm interested in these storylines. I'm interested in the build up of these individuals, each individual, because I damn sure want to see what's going on with Sam. I want to know more about her backstory.
Yeah,
I want to know all of their storylines. Give it to me. Why? Because we already know season 2 is already underway. So they they already have their idea of where they're going with this whole thing. And I think it's important for us to build relationships with these characters because I think we're going to see these characters for a long time. So,
agreed.
So I'm 100% down for the journey. Like, look, what else we got to do, man? Watch Wonder Man.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that because yes, we are watching Wonder Man. And real quick, just a little shout out for those that do pull up on our shows, and a real quick shout out to the homie Bree. If that's you watching from Pink Riot, always good to see Pink Riot. We fully support y'all and we love what y'all do. But yeah, man, real quick, and this music isn't because we stop it. I just want to get this point out. We will be talking Wonder Man this weekend. All right, so y'all make sure y'all pull up so we can talk Wonder Man, and we'll talk even more about what happened on those 8 episodes. We'll give some more of our interview with X Mayo, who is Simon Williams' agent, and we'll also be releasing hopefully today a reel to that effect. So make sure y'all pull up. And another beautiful announcement. Oh my God, I'm really geeked up about this one, man. I hope I had time to put this one out there. But we will have a special guest on our show next week. One that we've been trying to get secured for the longest. We won't be live. It's a pre-recorded interview. But the one and only Yatide, who was in Star Trek, if I'm not mistaken, was it Strange New Worlds? Yes, it was Strange New Worlds. One episode where she played a lawyer but she also was in American Gods. And Ty, what do we know her for?
Oh.
All right, you know what? You made it creepy.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do it. All right.
All right. Well, let's just say that
she's coming now. She's coming now. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess it up. Saying nothing crazy.
Yeah, there's a storm of things that she could be out there if she ever wants to try. So anyway, make sure y'all definitely tune in next week. But as we go ahead and start to wrap this up, there's a couple things that we want to go ahead and chat on. Now, they were clearly in this one also giving us Klingon anxiety, which is something that we haven't necessarily seen as much before, with the exception of Zyla when we think about Alexander, Worf's son. Do you think that they pulled it off, showing a Klingon with all of these different emotions that we normally... Now, we've seen Klingons struggle with their identity like Worf, but we haven't seen them sweat. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen them like be afraid to do things like publicly speak. Did they pull that off this episode? I feel like, you know, they were meaning to have a message in this.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think it's a big break from Klingon tradition in ways we haven't quite seen, even with Alexander, even with B'Elanna Torres. And also, I think it also kind of lends itself to just the young adult of it all, like coming into your own, learning how to speak up for yourself, learning how to defend yourself, and not wanting people to represent you, but to be able to do it on your own. And I think they pulled it off well.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely like the fact that they did, like you said, bring in old girl who's like, look, I wanted to be a mentor, but you know, it's like, you know, Zyla, we're just getting to kind of learn Zyla a little bit, so we don't know all of Zyra's history. We'll get the full, when we read her autobiography, we'll get the full origin story. But sometimes, like, you know, in a melanated universe, you know, you might get thrust into a world that doesn't have melanated individuals in your area, and you kind of feel like an outcast, right? I know up until I went to Florida A&M, when I moved from St. Louis to Florida, I moved from all black to you're the chocolate sprinkle. You know what I'm saying? And when you were the chocolate sprinkle in school, like I was in the band and the football team, strange combination, but it feels weird. But then you might have that one teacher, right? That one coach who's also like you, who they may not say, hey, look, we together, you know, we got to stick together, but they kind of gravitate to you. They kind of offer an arm, a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of an extended olive branch, so to speak, just to let you know, like, look, bro, I know what you're going through. You're not alone. I mean, I am working. I got a job, so I can't just hug you and be like, look, man, F everybody else. But I want you to know that I feel you. I see you. And it sounds like they have that in this lieutenant. You think that's about right, Ty? And then I only got one more thing, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit it right on the head. So, I mean, it's not much to really, you know, relay on that. Yeah, you hit everything.
Fair enough. All right, well, cool. But then the last thing I got, so we can go ahead and end this thing on out, is the fact that not only does our boy Jay-Den have a different outlook as it pertains to his emotions, not only is he afraid to speak in front of people, but there's one thing about Jay-Den that is very different from all the rest of the Klingons that I've ever seen. And I'm talking, of course, about the fact that Jay-Den may have literally the best set of teeth I've ever seen on a Klingon in my entire life. Jay-Den's teeth look like an orthodontist billboard. Like, they're literally white. There are no jagged edges. Like, I'm like, that's the point. Like, if we're talking about, oh, you should eat gawk and you should be a warrior, it's like, yeah, nah, he can be his own person. But your teeth, sir, like, do they have Invisalign in San Francisco in that far in the future? Like, it looks completely, his teeth are like, so, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, this gives me a whole new outlook on Klingon. Like, what if B'Elanna Torres had like a BBL, or like if they were like, you know what I'm saying? Like how far do the Klingons go with their body modification? Yo, you noticed it too, Zyla. You know, like he almost,
it was jarring. It was jarringly white. It was glistening. It was giving Colgate all day, every day. Like, I don't know. I've never seen such a good teeth on a Klingon, but you know, who knows what his regimen is.
Yeah, Ty.
Apparently, it's vegetarian. I mean, apparently he's been eating the best vegetables and fruits all across the universe. You know, I mean, those teams definitely don't look like they've ever touched any tough meat. He's never had a steak, never had any type of chicken. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know, hey, it is what it is, man. Jay-Den I feel like is going to grow on us in a way that we don't really realize. And again, it's because there is that moment when he breaks down, because it's coming. Like I saw the shed of the tear, but it's a moment when Jay-Den breaks down, and it's gonna everybody's gonna be it's gonna touch you in a different way, because there's a strong level of vulnerability that he's not showing, and I think it's coming. It's coming.
All right. Speaking of, all right. Well, hey, what's up, Anthony? I think I'm on your channel. I'm sorry, man. I might have clicked Anthony's channel. So we're live on the movie blog as well. But we wrapping up right now, man. We wrapping up. I think we said there's a couple other honorable mentions that I'll include here on the way out. As I did notice that the Klingon thing, for those that do remember the original Star Trek motion picture, the boop 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 boop. All right, music geek. All right, I noticed that was in the background, and I thought it was worth a mention. And also the J.J. Abrams. Remember the reboot when he brought Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto and Zoe Saldana and all of them in? Well, J.J. Abrams made it a note to bring flare, and I mean flare is in like the flare on a camera, like when you see like the light beaming, and like when you go back and watch those reboots, like it's flare everywhere, and that's because J.J. Abrams wanted that. And I just noticed that in this particular episode, they kept that legacy. In the very last scene, when you see Jay-Den and Caleb sitting there talking, right there under the steps, there's this huge beam of light that's going right at the screen, and I couldn't help but think, yo, that is the spirit of J.J. Abrams still pulling up on this here set. So that's all I got for this week, y'all. I'm going to keep watching. And listen, for all the trolls out there, at least you got something to hate on a daily basis. I do have a suggestion, though. If you hate this version of Star Trek, I don't know who's forcing you to watch it. You know, like literally, like why do people feel compelled to watch shit that they hate? I will never understand that, but it is what it is. We'll go ahead and do final words, everybody, on the way out. Zyla with you, then Ty on the other end. Any final words on the way out before we go ahead and get on up out of here?
I'm just gonna say I'm loving it. Can't wait for next week. Next week is supposed to be a really good one. I think Tawny Newsome was involved. Episode 5, something about, you know, something we haven't seen in we've been waiting for in decades in the Trek fandom. So I'm just excited.
Ooh, all right. Looking forward to that. Bad time, man. Any final words on the way out, Fam Bam?
You are a warrior. You are a healer. You are you.
Yo, all right. And then me on the way out. I don't know. That was pretty intense. You smart. You loyal. Buy your mama a house. Nah, be your authentic self. If you ain't being yourself, you being fake. It ain't no honor in that. And that includes being a vegetarian or a word warrior or whatever that is. And in all things, on behalf of myself and my counterparts here, you a geek, go ahead and let that good old geek flag fly. Deuces. Oh, got a new outro coming soon.
The New Blurred Order is one of my favorite places to visit. I hope you'll join us next time.
Oh shoot, I probably should have ended it.